Howdy people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 31 of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Last time, we finished our investigation of the main patio area, the main fountain area, and we are now cross-examining Manfred once more. So anyways, let's get going. That's strange. Delicia testified that Dover's sherbet was most delicious. Being an honest chef, I doubt he could have done that all by himself. Oh yeah, I think it's this next line that Manfred's going to say. Perhaps the two of them cooperate during the process of work. Manfred's going to argue. The man's telling you. How many times do I have to tell you? Delicious God's subjective opinion cannot be submitted of it. There's still a chance that no chef can make something tasty. My wife is an amateur. Yeah, her cooking wife was at the world-class chefs. Yes, if there's one thing about Manfred, it's that he will not deny his family, because no one can marry Manfred and be imperfect. You think Manfred would tolerate an imperfect wife? No. You have to pass the rigorous Manfred von Karma screening process. Now that is not, is that not a subjective opinion? Moreover, even if you take this pharmacist's testimony to be true, it changes nothing. She also mentioned that the part of her sherbet was very salty, which means you can hardly call his entry for the finals perfect. No! Yes, Miles got his no from Gregory. What? No more objections? Is there no way I can prove their collaboration? Mr. Edgeworth, there's something that's been bugging me. What is it? The desserts Mr. Dover made for the finals would have taken a long time to make, right? Indeed. They were all frozen sculptures after all. How would he have had the time to sculpt it after it was frozen? That would help Mr. Gustavia with his design as well. The way I see it, just waiting for the sherbet to freeze would have used up all his time. Just how is he able to make those sherbet sculptures? Raymond, you may have a promising future after all. Thanks to you, I noticed one more possibility. That's right. Mr. Dover's sherbet needed time to freeze properly, and the contest's time limit would not have been enough. The method Mr. Dover used to make his sherbet within the time limit was... They want desserts! If the sherbet was prepared in advance, all he'd have to do is sculpt it. Just what are you mumbling about? Please excuse me, I finally realized. Your earlier view was correct. Huh? But Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing? Oh, so you're finally admitting defeat? You are acknowledging my perfection? Santa! You are God right now! Does Santa enlighten you? No. All I am admitting to is that the truth of one of your statements. Dover and Gustavia's collaboration lasted only until the day before the finals. It's exactly as you said. They only cooperated until the day before the finals. The sculptures in Mr. Dover's room were all made out of sherbet. Such an amount would most likely need to be left overnight to freeze, which means Mr. Gustavia prepared Mr. Dover's sherbet in advance the day before. That's right. So you realize Gustavia's cooperation ended the day before the finals. Then why did Mr. Dover not help Mr. Gustavia in return? The views of the dead are no concern to me. If you aren't going to answer that, I'll need to get in touch with Mr. Gustavia himself. Or was your interrogation not quite as thorough as you claim? You ingrate! You dare to mock me! That was not my intention, but I do have a problem with your attitude. I want you to give us a clear reason why we can't be Mr. Gustavia in person, because it would hurt my case! A clear reason? Gustavia and Dover's collaboration has no bearing on this case. You claim their collaboration is irrelevant. If Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's relationship had turned sour, it could serve as a motive for murder. You're saying that Gustavia and Dover's collaboration was linked to the motive of the murder? If that were the case, why did he not conceal it? After all, we found out his collaboration with Gustavia himself. If you really are a lawyer, show us evidence that gives us reason to suspect Gustavia. Only one of Mr. Gustavia's actions has been suspicious so far. Doubtless von Karma already knows this fact. This could be a trap by von Karma. What's wrong, defense attorney? Not going to answer? But I mustn't back down now. Mr. Gustavia snuck into Mr. Dover's room. His reasons for this are certainly unclear. But the very fact he secretly entered the victim's room is reason enough to suspect him. If that's the extent of it, I can dispel those doubts. I knew it. What was it, a trap after all? I was intending to save this for the courtroom, but I'll make a special exception. We wouldn't want to prolong the trial with unnecessary information, would we? Take a look at this. This is the photo of Gustavia and Dover and the sons. Gustavia and Dover's woman ordered to steal this photo. To steal the photo? It seems that Sons attended the same elementary school. Apparently, he thought that they'd be suspect if people found out that he and Dover were acquainted. Yes, just like you're doing now! There's nothing suspicious about Gustavia's actions. No further room for argument. No! He's still adamant of not letting us meet with Gustavia. I have an investigation to return to. I have no more time to waste on the likes of you. Curse that Von Karma! Calling's a waste of time! What should we do, Mr. Edgeworth? At this rate, Mr. Jeff will be... Von Karma is busy? Of course. Why would he be so busy? Both the body and the murder weapon have been found, and he already has his suspect. The police should have more than enough evidence to prove Mr. Master's guilt. If that's the case, then why is Von Karma still investigating the crime scene? Because I'm perfect and thorough! Mr. Edgeworth, is there something wrong? It seems I may have overlooked a matter of vital importance. Considering that he already has the evidence he needs to convict Mr. Masters, I feel that Von Karma isn't as composed as he should be. He didn't even tell Detective Bad the full results of the investigation. Yeah, Von Karma's a bit on edge at the moment. He still hasn't received the autopsy report. Furthermore, something vanished from the crime scene and we still don't know why. Detective Bad, please look at the crime scene carefully once more. The blood stain that should have remained at the crime scene has disappeared. I definitely didn't get any reports about the blood stain being cleaned up. But the strangest thing we found wasn't in Mr. Masters' room at all. It's a match. The blood in the fountain is Dover's. Mr. Dover's blood vanished from Mr. Masters' room. And someone somehow found its way into the fountain. What does this mean? Although the victim's blood wasn't found in Mr. Masters' room, it was detected in the water fountain. There would be no need for the killer to conceal the bloodstains after the body was found. It's unnatural that only the bloodstains that were found with the body disappeared. Unless the body was moved, the blood would have still remained on the chocolate. Don't tell me. Someone removed the body and then erased the bloodstains. Boom. It's possible that the body was removed from the crime scene. And the autopsy report still has not arrived. Although we have a murder weapon and a suspect, we don't know much about the body. I've been investigating under the assumption that the body had been discovered. Perhaps this assumption was wrong from the very beginning. Why didn't Von Karma give Bad the autopsy report? To understand that, yes, I must turn my logic around. My thinking should be, why is Von Karma hiding the body? But rather, what if Von Karma doesn't even have the information to begin with? What happens if we think of it like that? It's possible that the body wasn't removed by the police for autopsy. It was moved by the hidden and moved in him by the real killer. Mr. Edgeworth! I've heard of many dark rumors surrounding Von Karma. He's a prosecutor who forges evidence, fabricates testimonies, makes backroom deals, and makes anyone who angers him cry. Yeah, I've heard about that too, but what does that mean? I try to avoid judging others based on rumors, and I didn't let those rumors influence my opinion on Von Karma until today. It seems he's a man who would distort the truth. Oh yes, because Manfred going on about his perfection. That didn't raise any red flags yesterday, Gregory. That didn't raise any flags whatsoever. Distort the truth? You don't mean forgery? I do. And I can't allow him to get away with this. I must return to the prosecutor's office for now. Not the word to that attorney. Roger. What do you want, defense attorney? I want to know the truth that you've been hiding. fool! Are you trying to mislead the police investigation again? If you interfere with my investigation anymore, I'll be forced to reprimand you myself! Police? No. My objection is with you! What? Isn't it a prosecutor's job to ensure justice for criminals? What are you saying? I have no need time to debate the job of a prosecutor with you. However, I will tell you one thing. My job is to ensure those I prosecute are found guilty. Before the perfect proof, there can be no room for doubt. And to find that perfect proof, you would need even soup to prove forgery. Ha! I was wondering what you were going on about. You intend to accuse me of forgery, don't you? Yes. And that's for that reason you did not allow Detective Bad to investigate. What do you mean? The real reason Detective Bad wasn't investigating was not so he could keep an eye on us. It was to hide the fact you never found the body. What? They never found the body! You Satan, you cretins! You will cease with these ludicrous accusations! I will not tolerate any further insults! In that case, let us identify the body. If you do, we will have evidence that shows whether I'm right or wrong. The burden of proof was on you, defense attorney. I have no reason to comply with your baseless conjecture. You must have noticed it too, the lack of blood stains at the crime scene. So why did the blood vanish? And more importantly, where did it go? Foolishness! Why would anyone erase the blood in the chest that contained the body? Yes, that's exactly right. If the body had been found there, the disappearing blood stain would have no meaning at all. However, what if the body was already gone? To erase the traces of the body being there, one would have to get rid of the blood stains as well. Why make such a fuss over blood stains? It seems like a trivial detail to me. Or, are you saying that you can show me whether those blood stains went? In court, everything must be said with evidence. Is that right, Von Karma? In that case, I'll show you the evidence supporting my claim. Which piece of evidence shows that where the blood in Mr. Master's room went? There were traces of the victim's blood found in the fountain. Traces of Mr. Master's chocolate were also found in this very fountain. In other words, the blood was washed down the stream, which then flowed into the fountain. All this points to only one possibility. After the body was removed, someone erased the blood stains. Ah! Von Karma, where was the body really found? If you really found the body, you should be able to answer. How do you have this information? How do you know the result of the water composition testing on the fountain? Because I allowed them to investigate. But I always have thought on my side. From here on out, I would not allow you to associate any further with this case. Screw you, asshole. I do what I want, and I'm gonna be on this case. I'll be the first detective on the stand. I'll push Rip Lacer out of the way, and I will basically take that stand myself. I'll say all these things. I'll say everything you do to us. It's not like you were letting me do much anyways. Von Karma, you still haven't answered my question. Or are you admitting to the fact that you didn't find the body at all? You say I never found the body. Where is your evidence? He's never going to confess. Of course I'm not! I'm perfect! What would I have to confess to, other than my perfection? And my love of Santa, and Christmas in general. I have nothing further to say to you. Gregory Edgeworth, this matter will be decided in court. We'll see just how well your logic holds up there. Von Karma, I know your methods are wrong. I promise without fail, I will expose the truth you've hidden. Okay. Yeah, you know the fact that Gregory just ruins Manfred. Detective Bad, I'm sorry. It's because you let me investigate that. No, this was bound to happen sooner or later. This is also the first time I've been restricted in my investigation. Your theory that they never found the body sounds pretty close to the mark. That I will make clear in court. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Even though I'm no longer in charge of this case. Then, though I'm very sorry about this, I have one more favor to ask of you. It's dubious as hell, but we're striking Von Karma now. Hey, what are you guys whispering at? I want to know too! This will be my trump card in court. The information I've gathered up until now should be enough to prove Mr. Master's innocence. But if all else fails, I'll have this ready. Your trump card? You'll see at the trial. Wow, I get to be at the trial too? Of course, you're my assistant. Of course, you're my assistant. Oh, yes, exactly. I'll be an ace attorney too by next year. Von Karma will never beat the two of us. Right. He'll just kill me. Although I hope to clear Mr. Master's name before you become a lawyer. If Mr. Von Karma is you are going to, you'll want that the trial ended in a day. That's right! We have to escape Master Chief as fast as we can! After all, this is you we're talking about. I'm sure you'll beat Von Karma. Jeff Master, alone in a dark cell, arrested on false charges. I must expose Von Karma's lies if I am to save him. The last words we ever hear of from Gregory. To be continued. April 2nd, 2:10 p.m. Zodiac Art Gallery. And that's Uncle Ray knows about the IS-7 incident. So that's what happened in my daddy's last case. The truth of the IS-7 incident.
And that what happened at the trial?
In the end, Von Karma defeated us.
So you couldn't prove Mr. Master's innocence?
Well, it's kind of hard when Gregory gets shot in an elevator by the guy. We had plenty of evidence to prove it. But Von Karma was even more despicable than we thought. He was a prosecutor who would do anything for his guilty verdict. That's right! And he really did use any means necessary. He even killed your old man. Because of this, the trial dragged on for about a year until it finally reached a conclusion. I'll never forget that fateful day when the judgment was passed down, the 28th of December. It's April now, so it's been a little over 17 years. How time flies.
The 28th of December, 17 years ago. I was watching from the gallery that day.
Before the trial, your old man noticed that Mr. Masters was acting strangely. He was at the breaking point, both mentally and physically. He wanted to be found guilty.
No, Mr. Masters didn't fake a confession, did he?
Yeah, that was what Von Karma was aiming for from the start. When your old man tried to expose the fact that the body had not been found, Von Karma used the power of his police cronies to quash the argument. And then, get him! Now, Greggy, come on, Worthy. We're not dealing with this. Come on, Worthy. The body was found. Man has got his autopsy report, and it's even been updated. Man went on about his updated autopsy report. He even went as far as to prepare a fake autopsy report. Then, they made Mr. Masters give a false testimony and confess to being an accomplice. With Mr. Masters' confession, the situation quickly became dire. But your old man had a trump card up his sleeve.
Was that the trump card he was talking to Detective Bad about?
Yeah, the trump card was to be our insurance in case Mr. Masters confessed. He had asked Detective Bad to have Mr. Masters' interrogation recorded.
Detective Bad wanted to show the truth too, huh?
After he was dropped from the investigation, he never stopped caring about the case. Even when he was involved with other larger cases, he really was the definition of a true detective. The defense presented the recording, which proved that the confession was forced. Well, it seemed the detective in charge of the initial investigation interrogation, Rip Blazer, took all the blame and was charged with and dismissed. Still, at the trial, your old man exposed Von Karma's corruption, and Von Karma received his first penalty from the then chief prosecutor. The only penalty is 40 years of prosecution. However, Mr. Masters didn't want the trial to continue any longer, and the curtains closed on the trial that day with the verdict of guilty.
My memory of the time is fuzzy, but I was also there watching my daddy's final trial, and I think his final regret became my own.
Your old man wanted a retrial to prove Mr. Masters' innocence, but he passed on before he could fulfill his wish, after getting entangled in another case. It breaks my heart even now that I didn't return home with him that day. And what's more, to blind myself from my own worthlessness. Uncle Ray put all of his hatred on you as a traitor for being Von Karma's pupil, even though Von Karma pretty much just took you away like he did with all those people back then. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It's natural. After I became a prosecutor, I was able to get Von Karma to show me the case file. Mr. Masters was found guilty for the murder of Isaac Dover.
Eh? That's not right. Wasn't Mr. Masters found guilty of being an accomplice?
But the case file says guilty of murder! There should be anything unsolved in the case out by Manfred von Karma.
Wait, can I take a look at that file? It looks like the charges have been rewritten.
What?
Look at this.
The charges accomplice the murder.
This is a copy of the original file I received from the courts.
Why would the charge be altered? Oh crap, now I realize it. Von Karma was trying to flex his own ego. He wanted to make him sound perfect.
This file was given to you by Von Karma, right? Maybe he just didn't want you to know the truth since you're Gregory's son. He would have wanted to avoid another retrial before the statute of limitations ran out after all.
The Von Karma strategy! So what I had come to believe back then, had it all been a lie? What is my life? My life is an entire lie! Was there one thing Von Karma was also at other than all the rest of this cracks?
If you don't know about it, just make sure you know it from now on. The statute of limitations long expired, but the truth still sleeps right here. After old man passed away, Uncle Ray took over as Mr. Master's defense attorney. Although Von Karma also had another prosecutor take over the case, perhaps he thought that since his opponent was a rookie, he didn't even need to turn up. In the end, the real killer was never found, and Mr. Masters was found guilty.
No! Is there nothing we can do even now?
Since the killer was never found, he can't withdraw his confession. I found out after the trial that Mr. Masters made a deal with Von Karma because Von Karma had threatened him. If you don't confess, Catherine Hall will be held under the same charges.
That's terrible!
I don't think Mr. Masters really thought that Kate was the killer, but to protect her, he faked a confession. Miles, on the day that Knightley Boy was killed, why do you think Uncle Ray was at the prison?
I see. You went to see Mr. Master, didn't you?
I said I'd visit him every day. I couldn't keep that promise, but I asked Katie Pie to look in on him for me when I couldn't. Though rain or snow, she went every single day without fail. But nothing was changed, and Mr. Master still serves his punishment.
That's so sad! Isn't there anything we can do?
That's why I came here, because I knew those ice sculptures would be on display here today. So what are you going to do, Miles?
I'm a prosecutor. My position is different from you and my daddy's.
Miles.
But moving aside past my position, what I want as Miles Edgeworth is to know the truth of these two cases. It is for that reason that I am here.
You really are your father's son. Well then, if that's what you decide, I'll support you all the way. I'd better leave the IS-7 documents and evidence with you then. Alright, here are the documents. By the way, the parts in orange are Uncle Ray's old notes.
Thank you.
And now, here's the IS-7 incident. There's a lot, so make sure you look over while you investigate. There's a lot of IS-7 incident.
Right, I'll check up through it later. Anyways, there are so many strange things about this case. Indeed, those involved in the case 18 years ago have reunited and another incident occurs. Replicas of the statues from 18 years ago were displayed in the Winter Palace and poison gas was released in the Autumn Palace, which had been disguised as the Winter Palace. The two chemicals in the Pisces case, normalium and fatalium, were mixed, causing an outbreak of poison gas. The victim of the poison gas was Dane Gustavia, a person involved in the IS-7 incident. Because he was unconscious, he received treatment in the Zodiac Art Gallery's infirmary. Finally, the dead body found floating in the fountain. And once again, the ice sculptures have melted. These are deep connections between the two cases. It's possible that there are still some clues left from 18 years ago. Right, let's get started!
Sebastian! I'm not going to be forgotten about! Sure, it was a flashback, but I'm still here! Just 1 second, don't tell me you just forgot about me! Didn't I tell you that I'm the one charged in this case? Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you intend to continue disrupting Sebastian's investigation, the word guilty will be added to your PIC report.
What does she mean, guilty? Please allow me to assist in your investigation as before. I appreciate your proposal, but I'm afraid I must overrule it. That was fast! Even though we're short on hands to identify the victim right now, it's only a matter of time until we figure it out. In that case, I shall take that load off your shoulders at once. Regarding the identity of the identity of the unidentified body, one person comes to mind. Really? Then tell us! Is it the Tooth Fairy? Because Pop said that she was killed years ago by committing suicide after having to deal with me. Very well. It's not just the sculpture that may have come back, right? The incident 18 years ago. The body from the fountain is... Jeff Masters! Sebastian! Justine! Isaac Dover. It's likely the identity of the body is the victim of the murder that occurred here 18 years ago. Isaac Dover. It's Icy's Bolty. Hey, who's that? I've never heard of him. Mr. Isaac Dover, a truly gift-great sculptor, but he was better known as Pierre Hoquet. The sculptures on display here in the museum are his creation. So in other words, that sculpture was the best! So I feel a strong kinship to him! He was me in a past life! And he was the victim of the IS-7 incident. She knew about the IS-7 incident. Prosecutor Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident occurred 18 years ago. And what's more, the police reported the removal of the body.
That's what's on the record, but I wonder if that's really the truth.
What are you saying? We'll answer that next time. Anyways, I really appreciate that you said going to watch the episode, your review, or go back to the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do everything you want. With that, I'll see you later. Bye.